On this edition of From the Core, we visit a Mahdi United Nations club.
We learn all about the mound builders.
And we find out all of the benefits of being bilingual.
All of these stories and so much more on this edition of From the Core.
Hi everyone, I'm Nino.
And I'm Maddie. Welcome to From the Core.
Hey Maddie, have you ever wondered how students learn to be diplomats at such a young age? Well, David recently visited the Model UN Club at Steinbrenner High School to learn more about the diplomatic processes involved.
They say knowledge is power, but it also builds a better tomorrow. And a group of students at Steinbrenner High School are learning to do just that through their Model United Nations Club.
South Africa, Germany, Russia, United States. Have you ever wondered how all these countries seem to work together so easy? Well, the United Nations provides a platform for these countries and more to work together to build a better place for the citizens of the world to live. Students at high schools all over Tampa and as far as China are learning how all of this works through the Model United Nations. The Model UN is an organization run under the Global Classroom to teach students international diplomacy and to help shape the youth of the world into well-rounded, connected citizens. I recently sat down with Dr. Kelly Miliziano, the president of the Model UN here in Tampa, and the sponsor for the club at Steinbrenner High School. She feels that the Model United Nations is a tool for students to learn a new perspective on many of the world's issues.
We live in a globalized society. Like it or not, the things that we do in Tampa have an impact on people and places across the globe. And you know, as a citizen of this country and the world, we have a responsibility to know more, to increase our knowledge. So I think it's an excellent opportunity for students to play the role of different people from different countries so that they not only learn about an issue, but also from another perspective.
Since its founding 4 years ago, Jenna Stevens has played an integral part in the club and now serves as the club's president. She finds the experience of the Model UN wonderful.
I've learned a lot about speaking in public and debating, and I've also learned a lot about how to make connections with people and about different points of view around the world, because when you go to the international conferences, you're not there with just people from the United States or just from Tampa. You're there with people from England or Singapore or Pakistan, countries all around the world, and I've made friends with people all around the world.
Annually, cities such as Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, and New York host international and national conferences. One of the conferences the students like to attend is the conference held in Boston, Massachusetts. The students not only learn to be diplomats, but create bonds with the other members of the club. Dr. Miliziano explains how the students who don't have a club at their school can get involved.
Get a faculty member. You have to start a club, as small or large as you want. Go to the website, UNAUSA globalclassrooms.org. There's information on how to start a club, what Model UN is. It even has some little PowerPoints of how to get started, how to get your club started and engaged and do it.
The sooner I can pay our fees for Boston.
I know, I'm so excited to go.
So
Dr. Miliziano and Jenna are planning many things for Steinbrenner's Model UN Club for the school year. If all goes as planned, the young diplomats will take what they've learned here in Tampa and share it with the world.
Wow, that was really interesting. If you want to learn more about the Model UN, contact your school's club advisor or visit unausa.org to find out all the exciting things in Model UN.
Before we take a break, here's Alex with this month's Civics 101 Challenge.
In the United States, the term swing state has come to describe those states in which both presidential candidates have a reasonable chance of winning that state's electoral college votes. Not surprisingly, such states are heavily targeted during election years because they can make or break the election's outcome. There are several explanations as to why loyalties are so divided within these states. Often, one candidate has a stronghold in a particular area of the state. Traditionally, Democratic candidates are largely supported by the state's urban residents, while Republican candidates receive a majority of the rural and suburban vote. Because most of these populations are nearly equal in numbers, the state ends up being divided. In other cases, the population distribution is even closer, with many of the counties split roughly down the center in terms of which candidate they support. Historically, Florida has been placed on the list of swing states since 1950. Before the break, let's test your civics knowledge. In which closely contested presidential election did Florida play a pivotal role in determining the winner? The answer and more after these short messages.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to Energy Star light bulbs, and you'll realize just how much cash you are really burning through. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov.
Welcome back to the show. If you guessed the 2000 election, great job. In 2000, after an intense recount and the decision of the United States Supreme Court in Bush versus Gore, Bush won Florida's electoral votes and subsequently the election over Al Gore by a mere 537 votes. Wow, imagine that. Thanks for sticking around. For Civics 101, I'm Alex.
It was so hard.
I know. I think I studied, so I think I did.
Hey! Hey!
How was your weekend?
Oh my god, it was great. I have so much to tell you, but I'll talk to you later. I got to get to class now. Bye.
She hooked up with 3 guys last weekend, all on the same night. I heard she hooked up with her ex. She is so trashy and easy.
Well, over the weekend, my so-called friend Chaya hooked up with like 5 boys, including my ex-boyfriend. Can you believe her? She's so disgusting.
Oh my god, did you hear that?
What?
Chaya hooked up with Sophia's ex-boyfriend. What?
You hear what happened this weekend?
No.
Chaya hooked up with like 17 guys at the same time.
Okay.
Alright, feel your mistakes.
Now it's gonna be better.
Hey, Christy! What's up?
Ew.
But look, no one would stop posting and tweeting about you all day today. It was seriously starting to get annoying. I hope you learned your lesson. Not that any guy would ever want to talk to you again. I think we should go.
How could you betray me like that? I thought we were friends.
Get over yourselves. I wasn't even at that party. I was at home babysitting my little brother, which you would have known if you had asked me instead of gossiping and making incorrect judgments. Grow up.
Don't assume. Get the facts. Think twice before spreading rumors. There's more than just reputations at stake. Welcome back to From the Core. We've started something new here at FTC. It's called What Do You Know? It's a conversation with our friends at TB2, a teen newspaper sponsored by the Tampa Bay Times. With me now is TB2 editor Rachel Moa and TB2 reporter Jackie Lawson. Thanks for joining me today, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. So, Jackie, I understand you recently did a story about a Gaither High School student about joining the Air Force.
Yes, I interviewed a student from my school who's actually a senior. His name is Alan Romero, and he is very interested in pursuing a career in the Air Force. He is in our ROTC program, which is a military vocational program at our school. That teaches leadership skills and has an emphasis on military training.
So what motivates Alan the most to join the Air Force?
Alan is actually an immigrant from Honduras, and through his experiences from the poor community in Honduras and migrating to America, he has developed an appreciation for the quality of life that we as Americans have, and he really wants to give back to his community that's given so many opportunities to him and his family.
So I know there are a lot of risks involved in joining the armed forces. What does Alan think about that?
Recently, my editors and we heard a story about Army Specialist Brittany Gordon, a grad from St. Pete High, who's actually the first woman to die in Afghanistan. and the news really hit home because she is relevant to our community and really it affects us. And so we wanted to tie in her news as along with Alan's plans, and we had interviewed him solely for an Air Force story, and then we decided to go back and interview him again and talk to him about his risks. He understands and he definitely feels sympathy for those who have passed on, but he wants to serve, and I think that's a beautiful thing that he's so willing.
That was a really inspiring story. Thanks, Jackie.
You're welcome.
So, Rachel, I know you guys recently covered the Erase Hate Festival. Tell me a little bit about that.
The Erase Hate Festival was sponsored by TB2 and The Times, and it was on November 4th at Curtis Hickson Park. TB2 was there to cover and photograph the many students that signed a giant asterisk, which is one of our logos, pledging to erase bullying and to help bring awareness to bullying and that it should be stopped. So.
That's awesome. So what is there to look forward to on TB2?
We actually have some really exciting pieces coming up. One of my favorites, one of our staffers, is actually going to cover the Breaking Dawn Part 2 movie. Except, and this is how we do everything on TB2, we put a little twist, a kind of a featurey aspect to it. He is going with his 80-something-year-old grandfather and going to get his take on it. So I think it's going to be really fun for readers to catch.
Is there anything else?
Yeah, we actually have a Thanksgiving issue coming up, and I'm really excited for this, mostly because I like to eat. But some of our staffers are going to cover culinary students taking Thanksgiving leftovers and creating them into something completely different. So not just the same old boring turkey sandwich. And then we're doing a Thanksgiving by the numbers, and we're kind of showing how many calories you eat during Thanksgiving and all the turkeys consumed. So it's going to be really exciting.
That's really getting me in the mood for some Thanksgiving dinner. So Rachel, where can we find the TB2 newspaper?
Students can find it at all of their high schools, and you can also find it online at tb2.com.
Well, thanks for being here today, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more from the Core.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Nino here. Welcome back to From the Core.
In our monthly trending segment, FTC reporter Jackie brings senior Ross Castillo to the studio for you to see his talent and passion for playing the clarinet.
What's trending with me is expressing yourself creatively. So today I brought Ross Castillo from Cambridge Christian to show us how he expresses himself through the use of clarinet. Thank you, Ross.
Thanks, Jackie.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. And for those of you who are wondering, that was an introduction from Rhapsody in Blue.
We hope you enjoyed Ross's musical style and learned the importance of playing an instrument. Throughout the year, we at FTC have admired people who have made a difference and helped to impact the Tampa Bay area. And today, Nino has another unsung superstar of history. Over to you, Nino.
Every month, we like to recognize someone that's not very well known, but has contributed to improving the city of Tampa. Today, Veronica Cartaya is here with me to reveal the rich history of a very unique group of people. Thanks for being here with us, Veronica.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us, who's our unsung superstar today?
Instead of focusing on just one person,
we're talking about the mound builders, who are a group of people who built mounds in Florida.
Okay, where are some of these mounds located?
Some of these mounds are located in Crystal River Park, Miami, Fort Walton Beach, and we used to have one across the street from the hockey arena.
And who exactly built these mounds?
The mound builders were certain people within different Native American tribes or nations who were designated to build these mounds.
I see. What were the purpose of these mounds exactly?
Well, the mounds, a lot of them were used for burial purposes, but they were also used for ceremonies and religious worship.
How did they go about constructing these mounds?
As you can imagine, these mounds are quite large. Some of them even took 6 million trips of one bucket of dirt at a time.
Wow. What exactly would they use to build these mounds?
Well, a lot of them were made out of dirt, but some of them were made up of sand. And inside was, for burial purposes, was the person, and also artifacts that they used for daily life. Some of them were decorated with coquina shells to make them look better.
How long have these Native Americans building these mounds been indigenous to Florida?
They were here about 12,000 years before the first European settlers, so it's been some time.
Wow. When these European settlers arrived, I'm assuming the Spanish, did their exploration affect the mound builders and their culture in any way?
Of course. The practice of building mounds fell out of popularity when this occurred because the European settlers brought with them disease such as smallpox, so a lot of the Native Americans were dying due to low immune systems. Also, when you introduce a new group of people to an area, there's bound to be some conflict. So a lot of the conflicts led to death as well.
Wow. How did the creation of these mounds impact the Florida that we know today?
Well, the Native Americans that built the mounds, their names are actually a lot of city names now in Florida, such as Pensacola, Miami, even Tampa is a Native American name. And we can go visit them and learn about the culture from 12,000 years ago.
Wow, it's interesting. Now, Veronica, why are these mounds specifically important to you?
Well, today in Tampa, we see skyscrapers, cars, highways, phones. And when we look at these mounds, we see that there was a lot going on back then, too, and we get to learn about what was going on 12,000 years ago before we were here.
Wow, it's very interesting. Thank you for being here with us
Thank
today.
you so much for having me.
We'll be right back with more from the Core.
Mom, can I have $1? I think my purse is upstairs on the bed. It's not here. Check the dining room. No, the upstairs closet.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
So, like, that test?
It was crazy. Like, what is that? Whoa. Why would he purposely make us all fail? Really?
I'm sorry.
What is this? Is that how this is going to be?
What is your problem?
You have issues. You're going to pay for this.
Whoa, what's going on here?
So, like, that test?
It was crazy. Like, what is that?
Whoa.
Why would he purposely make us all fail?
When you need to curb your anger, take a deep breath. Relax. Think before you speak and walk away.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I was just running a class. Okay.
See you around.
Remember, hot heads never win.
Welcome back to From the Core. Now it's time for Point of View with Kiara Gonzalez Portillo. She's going to talk about what it's like to be bilingual along with some of the perks that go with it.
Does the language one speaks affect how one might think about the world? Many researchers debate on whether learning 2 different languages as an infant either hinders a child or helps the child in the long run. Although many people believe that this may delay a child's learning ability, others believe that this may give the child an extra edge. Of the many advantages of bilingualism, the most beneficial aspects include more professional opportunities and enhanced communication. Today, the ability to speak a second language is becoming increasingly important. The Center for Applied Linguistic Research shows that multilingual students score higher on standardized tests than monolingual students. Research also shows that bilingual children are more effective at multitasking and show an overall increase in problem-solving skills. The contributing factor to these benefits comes from having the brain constantly juggling two languages and then deciding the appropriate language for the given situation. In addition, colleges and professional opportunities prefer a bilingual speaker to a monolingual speaker. This is because a bilingual employee or student has the ability to reach out to a greater audience. Families constantly travel for vacations and often visit foreign countries. If a family visits a foreign country without knowing anything about the language, the vacation is not going to be as pleasant as it might be. From my experience, people may be reluctant to help a traveler if the traveler does not attempt to communicate in the language of the country. Another advantage of being bilingual includes learning root words of two different languages. For example, if one speaks Spanish fluently, Italian is not going to be as difficult to learn and understand due to the similar root words. And if a person speaks Spanish fluently, they can be comfortable conversing in other Spanish-speaking countries. In addition, one has more respect in the visited country if one knows the language. In the end, being bilingual has more benefits than does being monolingual. From receiving special treatment when dealing with professional business to world travels. So, if given the opportunity to learn a second or even third language, lo haré, which means I would accept the challenge.
Well, that's our show. We would like to thank our fellow FTC members for all of their help, and of course all of you at home for tuning in.
If you miss anything or would like to review this episode of From the Core, you can visit tampagov.net and click on the CTTV link on the left side of the page. Then choose From the Core.
Once again, thank you to our FTC contributors for sharing their opinions, experiences, and knowledge.
And don't forget, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, always do your part. Tune in next month for another exciting edition of From the Core.